there are a lot of first generation present fathers and father figures.
Right. No doubt. That's why I'm asking this.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about it.
But there's also a lot of first generation wives and mothers
Okay.
who didn't have present father figures.
That's true too.
You see what I'm saying? So just imagine when you bring both of those entities into the same space.
Yeah.
That's where the intentionality comes in, man. Just like anything else, like, man, if you want to work on your jumper, I'm watching Lethal Shooter, man. Every time I see him, man, this man putting up 1 million shots and different angles.
Yeah, he got that much time, man.
Yeah, man, that's all he do. You know, when they cutting you a check for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot too.
But sometimes, man, I think because we are so attached to our upbringing that we are not intentional about getting in the gym when it comes to being better fathers or honoring or supporting black father figures. Because just because you didn't have that in your life does not, once you recognize, if I didn't have it in my life growing up, once I become that entity, the father or the father figure, it's just like getting in the gym, man. You got to go out and be intentional about figuring out. What up, what up, what up? This your boy Reggie George, founder of the Father Figure Movement, Father Figure Podcast, man. We back at y'all, man, with a new season, new episode, man. Definitely excited about this new setup, man. I got my trusted co-host, man, my homie, my brother. Got my boy Deontay Miller in the building. What up, D?
Reg, what up, man? Look, look. We gotta quit starting and stopping, man.
Hey, man, you know, sometime, bro, is worth the wait. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just messing, bro. It's
like,
good
man,
to be back.
I think this gonna be worth the wait, bro. I think we really in our bag. We in a sweet spot right now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And man, I think we gonna come with the dopest father figure content.
Yeah.
On the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't care if you're on YouTube, you're on Apple, you're on whatever you're on. I don't care if it's the video, the audio, man. I really think we in a sweet spot where we just a nice backcourt right now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, bro. You know, man, look. We like Dame and CJ McCullough right now, man. I mean, they traded CJ, but you know what I'm saying.
Hey, coming off the screen, you know what I'm saying? I know where to hit you. Man. But
right.
But nah, man, I'm definitely excited about first of all the space we in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all can see the quality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But also, man, I'm excited about a new opportunity to change the narrative, to impact families, impact communities, man, impact each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, even with me and your relationship, man, like, if we not growing, then we really not helping each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, Reg.
Nah, so I think we definitely in a good space, man, and man, let's go, bro. We about to go, man.
Let's do it, dog. I'm ready. You know I'm ready.
So this particular episode is geared around this concept,
right,
on father figure apparel, man.
Yeah.
The support black father figures. I've been getting some comments, and not necessarily backlash. You know what I'm saying? Just some comments on why we support black father figures. Not all black father figures, or it makes people think that the movement is only about black father figures, but our in-house experience is about being black father figures.
Yeah. That's what you can relate to.
That's what we can relate to. That's culturally. That's, you know, from a relationship standpoint, from every aspect of fatherhood and being a father figure.
Right.
Like, man, we know firsthand what kind of support we require, we need, and is necessary when it comes to supporting black father figures, man. So I just really want to see if we can maybe touch on a couple things that make it important to supporting black father figures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, is one of those deals where we don't want to make it seem like we excluding any other father figures, but I think we need to make our audience, make communities, make everybody understand why come up with a concept that says support black father figures. You got the shirt on that says just black father figures.
Oh yeah, well man, come on. When you told me what the topic of the show, I'm like, man, I'm looking for my black father.
You know what I'm saying? And that Navy, I forgot about that Navy boy.
Hey, it's clean. It's clean. But I mean, I know what you're saying, Reg, because I mean, fatherhood in general is inclusive, right? We recognize that. That's inclusive. It's across the board. But like you said, man, there's different narratives that's out there based on your demographic too. So like, yeah, there's going to be some commonalities that we will have as fathers, but there's going to be some drastic differences as well that we may have as black fathers as compared to maybe a Caucasian father or an Asian father or a Hispanic father, right? We're going to be able to relate to some degree, but then there's going to be some real significant differences too.
Nah, man, and that's really well spoken, man, because I think it defines what supporting a black father figure means to a black father figure.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Just because there are some cultural differences that only we can really relate to, and if nobody's supporting that, yeah, then that means we kind of on an island by ourselves. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's let's take for instance police brutality. Okay. Right? And we touched on it a little bit pre-show, but it does not matter your economic status. It does not matter your demographic. It doesn't matter your class, any of that, man. As black father figures, man, we're still having to educate our children, educate our young people on how to deal with the police. Right. And a lot of that is based on, like you're saying, that's based on cultural differences. It's not like police brutality doesn't exist in other communities, right? But it just exists differently in the black community.
Yeah, yeah. Essentially, what you're saying is my message to my black son as a black father, as it pertains to that, is going to be drastically different than maybe the message from a white Caucasian father to his Caucasian son, right? Because of the experiences, the things that unfortunately are at play, those messages are going to be drastically different. Now, if you take a different topic and you say, hey, we talking about females or women, well, you might have some more similarities there where in terms of the message that you're giving your son, but there's still going to be subtle differences in that too.
And that's based on community. That's based on culture.
Yeah, no
you know doubt. What I'm saying? Like, if a black father figure is not supported in the message that we're trying to give our children, when it comes to how to deal with the police, how to deal with a traffic stop, how to communicate with the police, you know what I'm saying? See, sometimes our children have to understand, and we have to convey that as fathers and father figures. We have to convey, like, sometimes you got to be polite to the 10th power. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it's hard to try and convey to kids, especially kids who are integrated now and they living in different communities and going to school with all walks of life, that sometimes even asking officer, can I ask what you pulled me over for? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? See, sometimes when you're in a space where asking a general question can be out of line just based on your skin color, us as father figures, bro, we have to convey that to our children.
No doubt. I mean, and I mean, you know, when you talk about that, Reg, that's a really sensitive subject in terms of when you're aligning that with fatherhood, right? But I was sitting here thinking about it when you were just talking about just that aspect, and I was thinking about, okay, if I was to ask culturally, if I was to go culture to culture and say, how do you define what a father is? You know, what does that look like? What does that mean? Yeah. I can probably bet that there's different levels, unfortunately, to the honor that fathers receive based on culture.
100.
Like, think about Asian fathers. We were just talking about that before. Listen, I can guarantee you, bro, there's a hierarchy in that family. And as a father, I can guarantee you honor is probably one of the top things or the top requirements in terms of his children, even his spouse or what have you, right?
100.
You talk about black fathers. Look, it's almost like you're going to get what you're going to get sometimes.
And everybody in our community didn't learn honor. See, honor and respect, and especially for the father or the father figure, man, that is part of other cultures that is not necessarily always a part of our culture.
Yeah.
And again, that's part of the support that we talking about, man. Sometimes, especially our women and our wives and our baby mamas or whatever you want to call them, man. Like, if you didn't go, single parent households is so prevalent in our neighborhood, in our communities, in our neighborhoods, bro, that we don't understand. Sometimes our women just don't know what honor looks like. They don't know what it feels like. When you've never had to really practice honor for that male figure or that father figure, man, it's not that I'm consciously dishonoring you, but subconsciously I don't know how to show you that kind of honor. Because let's take my house for example, man. I grew up in a military household in military towns.
Right.
And just from a military perspective, saying yes, sir, and no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, was just customary. But I remember when my dad retired, man, and we moved to Arkansas, everybody was like, man, oh, you just so polite, man. And you just like, no. Like, I don't know how to be around adults and not say yes, sir, no, sir. No, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not really. But again, it's because of it was because of that environment. That's a different level of honor and respect that necessarily, see, it trickles down because, like, when my dad was a first sergeant, it's one of those deals where what happens on the base or during PT or during, they whole setup, it just becomes customary that everybody's saying, no, sir, yes, sir, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am. It's almost a military custom that gets trickled down to the kids. But again, that's the soldier's way of showing the like you saying, the hierarchy, their respect is by saying, sir, no, sir, saluting, whatever the case may be. But just like in the house, man, if you never see that kind of structure, that kind of hierarchy, you got to be intentional about showing that kind of honor and that kind of respect, or respecting that kind of respect.
Don't let me ask you this, because that's a unique experience. Like, that's for you, that was your reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and we know, and I think we both can agree, that's not everyone's experience. And you said something that I felt was very significant. You said, you know what I'm saying? When you have that, you learn that, you develop that, you know what honor looks like. But what happens, or how do someone learn or honor or learn how to honor when we not present?
That's good.
When we absent.
That's a hell of a question, D, just because there are a lot of first generation present fathers and father figures.
Right. No doubt. That's why I'm asking this.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about it.
But there's also a lot of first generation wives and mothers,
okay,
who didn't have present father figures.
That's true too.
You see what I'm saying? So just imagine when you bring both of those entities into the same space.
Yeah.
That's where the intentionality comes in, man. Just like anything else. Like, man, if you want to work on your jumper, I'm watching Lethal Shooter, man. Every time I see him, man, this man putting up 1 million shots and different angles.
Yeah, he got that much time, man.
Yeah, man, that's all he do. When they cutting you a check for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot too.
But sometimes, man, I think because we are so attached to our upbringing that we are not intentional about getting in the gym when it comes to being better fathers or honoring or supporting black father figures. Because just because you didn't have that in your life does not, once you recognize, if I didn't have it in my life growing up, once I become that entity, the father or the father figure, it's just like getting in the gym, man. You got to go out and be intentional about figuring out. And again, that's why we got the Father Figure podcast. That's why we do conferences. That's why we do all that stuff, man, because our intent has to be helping cats who are looking for answers on, like, man, how do I navigate this thing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like if at your job or anything else, like, man, it has to be a form of continuing education. Like, you got to go look for how to be what you ain't never seen.
Yeah, and I think a lot of cats got to realize and remember, man, that there's no manual to this, right?
At all.
There's no blueprint. There's no, if I say, hey, do this, do that, and do that, it's going to work the same way it worked for me, because that's not true, right? That ain't real life. You know what I'm saying? But I think you're right, though. I mean, it's like anything. If I don't know how to do something, then I got to seek out a way to do it, right? And the other piece of that too, Reg, is, man, you got to seek out some credibility, because you could have somebody out there that's just kind of, they out there, right? They're a father or they're a dad, you know what I'm saying? But they ain't really no father, right? Biologically, they're my kids, but I ain't really operating under that title or under that banner the way that I should be. Number one, because either I don't know how. Number two, I don't want to. Number three, I'm still damaged and hurt from not having my father, that I'm just like, the hell with it.
And that's the thing. Like, man, we always talk about, you don't want to just seek counsel, man. You need to seek wise counsel.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come and like you say, just ask that cat that just casually think fatherhood is on and off. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, depending on how the mama acting or how the kids acting, or, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, just to take it there for a second, D, like, that's where, as men and fathers and father figures, man, you also got to figure out what your spiritual foundation is. You know what I'm saying? Like, one thing about the good book is that it has a lot of foundational tools, man, on how to navigate every aspect of your life. You know what I'm saying? That's including manhood and fatherhood and womanhood and families. So a lot of times, man, if you are grounded in being a better man or a better father or a better father figure, I think that's where it got to start. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some spiritual principles, just because I don't care what your setup is. Fatherhood ain't easy for me. It ain't easy for you. It ain't easy for, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, man, I think that's where we get it twisted, is that it's certain people that make it look easy. But bro, when you get down to the meat and potatoes, man, right. Like, man,
it is the most fulfilling yet hardest job that you would ever do in your life
on earth,
especially if you're doing it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, don't get me wrong, man. As a father, it is probably one of the most assuring, affirming things that I've ever done in my life, right? To be responsible, first of all, for God to entrust me with those kids, right? And then to be responsible for a life and teach them, set examples to raise them appropriately. However, like you said, there's no sick days. There's no recognition. There's few applause, right? Which goes back to what you're saying in terms of the support piece, because that is not something that's just normal. You know what I'm saying? But we just do. The good ones anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of what you're saying is a lot of reason that support ain't there, in my opinion, is because the narrative is so negative.
Yeah. You know
what I'm saying? The narrative, the perception of black fatherhood, the perception of black fathers. It's not necessarily, if I had to bank on it, man, I would say if we took a poll, it's probably going to be more negative reactions to that than it is positive, unfortunately.
100%. So, and I'm glad you kind of alluded to that, man, because 2 days ago, man, I'm watching Remember the Titans, and you know where Denzel had the boys, he take them up to Gettysburg and he have them like, look, man, until you get to know your roommate, we just gonna be out here on some slave stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna run y'all. We gonna get up 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, run 10, 12 miles. And Petey, the running back, he rooming with the super racist white cat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But as they going back and forth, Petey asked him about his parents, but then the other cat says to Petey, like, what's your daddy's name? You do have a daddy, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And bro, I'm not 100% positive when that was portrayed or what time frame, but I'm pretty sure it was the 50s or the 60s. Mm-hmm. But in 2022, man, it's still that same narrative or that same stereotype where it's a lot of people in other nationalities that will still ask that question to a lot of our young people. Like, you do got a daddy, don't you? And then Petey come back, and this is what I like about Petey part. Petey like, nah, I got a father, and his name is Eric.
Yeah. Hey, Petey was real.
Petey checked him right quick.
He got real with him, dog.
You know what I'm saying? But again,
yeah.
If even in Remember the Titans, if that scene was reversed, it doesn't play as hard. You know, the stereotype is different. If Petey asking him like, you do got a daddy, don't you?
Yeah. It's almost expected though. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, it's almost expected, and I hate to say that though, because it's like if I see you see black kids and you see white kids or you see Asian kids, right? The likelihood that you're going to look at that black kid and say, there's a good chance that he probably comes from a single household, right? Because here's the deal too. You could have a father that's in the home, but you still could be absent while you're in the home.
There we go.
Like, one of the things that I'm very intentional about, and I know you the same way about your girls. Not only am I going to show up and be present, but I'm not just going to show up and be present for the things that I'm interested in, right? Like, so if there's a parent-teacher conference, if it's something, I'm going to be visible at school, I'm going to be visible at games, I'm going to be visible so when they look at Bryce and when they see Kendall, they're going to say, I know his mama, but I know who his daddy is too.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a big piece of what's missing in our culture, man.
Well, it's missing, and those of us who are active and present and intentional, that's where the support is needed. You know what I'm saying? See,
yeah, I got you.
See, our platform is about highlighting that, just so people just so the narrative, the percentage is not at zero. See, a lot of times I think that's where things get thrown out of whack, bro, is because even though we do have those stereotypes and those narratives, we don't want you thinking that it's at zero.
Yeah.
The number ain't at zero.
It's not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even if a lot of times and in a lot of instances, the number is 80 or 90% in certain areas.
Okay.
You know, we just have to stop letting people dissect the lower areas to where you always think, a black father figure's presence is just, they almost at zero. Like, nah, that's and again, culturally, and this is what we know about being a black father figure. Once you throw in classism, poverty, you throw in redlining, you throw in projects and you throw in government assistance and you throw in all of that stuff, that's where you kind of see the dips, and you start one of the things that I despised about growing up in the hood was how intentional the government was about saying, if you are a single mother, and you might not even be single, if you are a mother and you want this assistance, the one thing that can't be around is a man.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? Like in order to get the food stamps, in order to get the vouchers for Section 8, like, man, you couldn't, dog. I remember women in the hood, even if you had a male caller come over or you was on a date or something, man, and the cat left his glasses or shoes, man, them people coming out there and they revoking your voucher or they revoking your food stamps just because you got a male around.
Yeah, man. I mean, like it's so layered though, Reg, in terms of just not only fatherhood but just being a black father, man. And I don't ever want black fathers to ever be and feel like a victim. Like I don't ever want them to take on that label, because at the end of the day, yes, there's some things that we have to consistently do and be for not only our children and our families, but for our community. But at the same time, there's so many challenges, man. There's so many things that we have to overcome every single day. Just stepping outside of your, not even, right? It's a battle at home already, not in a negative way, but just raising kids, being married and doing the things the right way. And then to have to step outside of your safe haven, which is into this society, and you already labeled, right? There's the narrative waiting on you. And it's been that way for so long, so it's going to take even longer to reverse it. Like you say, reverse the curse, right?
Reverse the curse.
It's going to take a long time to do it. But, man, we got to collectively, bro, take that, as we say, take on that challenge and say, all right, man, look, enough is enough, because the future of our kids and all of that stuff is predicated on what we do now.
And, bro, I think that's a great call to action for anybody who supports the movement, the podcast, the apparel, anything, man. That's really, and that's why I said, man, we in a sweet spot right now, just because, when you can find a great rhythm with a community of men, man, who take pride and who are intentional about not only being fathers and being father figures, but being better fathers and better father figures. And then we have to be intentional about not just focusing on our homes and our children, but again, now how can we affect the community? Because when you at the parent teacher conference and the next father is not, or the next father figure is not, or those children see that, man, it affects their perspective as well. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be aware and cognizant of that as well. You know what I'm saying? Not just my kids seeing me at the parent teacher conference.
Yeah.
It's good that these other kids see it. You know what I'm saying? Because now it might ignite a conversation with their father, or they're like, like, I always see Bryce's dad at everything.
Yeah.
I always see Kendall's dad at everything. And that's the accountability that we need to hold over a lot of cats' head, man, who are inactive, who are not present, or who at the house and it's a lot of cats just sitting at the house because they don't want to be at the parent teacher conference.
Yeah. Yeah. I just say, man, based on just kind of going back to the topic right at hand, why do you support black figures, or how do we do that? I mean, the call to action, if I had to have one too, I would say, man, look, black fathers, earn it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Earn it. Like, look, at the end of the day, man, my grandfather used to say this all the time, man. You only got to tell the truth one time. And so if you earning it every single day, you ain't got to prove that. You doing it through your action. Regardless of whatever someone perceives or says about you or whatever narrative is created, what you do every single day is going to last. It's going to stand out because you're going to see that in your kids. You're going to see that in your community, right? It's this thing that they say, man, you do all of this parenting when your kids in your house. I'm talking about you fussing, you doing all of that. You like, man, they don't get it, but you don't see the benefit of that until they leave your house. You know what I'm saying? And so that stuck with me even as a father. Like, yo, I'm doing all of this coaching, all of this parenting with Bryce and Kendall. And I feel like, man, I'm just constantly spinning my wheels. But I know one day when they leave my house and they out there on their own and I can see the benefit of it now, that's what's going to make the difference.
100%. Just because at the end of the day, a lot of what we giving them now don't make sense.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
It do to us, but not to them.
And even as men, man, we the products of a lot of coaching and a lot of parenting that didn't make sense back then.
Oh, no doubt.
But it make 100% sense right now. Like, man, we are the benefactors. You just made a statement that you said that your grandfather used to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure when he was saying it, it didn't make no sense.
Nah, I'm like,
you know
what you mean, man? I be telling the truth all the time.
Like what? Man, again, man, my grandfather used to say, son, just keep living.
Oh, yeah, my dad.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And again, that phrase we respect tenfold right now because we know what it means.
Yeah.
You get that at 12, 14, you like, man, what you mean? Keep living.
right.
Keep
Am I
living.
gonna die?
Like, what's going on? Right. But and then we'll end on a piece that's in your wheelhouse, man. And we kind of touched on this too when it comes to supporting Black father figures. One thing that I had to learn, and unfortunately I had to learn it the hard way through Camden's injury, is a lot of the support that we need as men, as fathers and father figures, man, is that we have to reverse the stigma and the narrative around therapy.
Oh, no doubt.
It's one of those deals where even though Camden and Kennedy have gone through what they've gone through, man, it's like walking on eggshells, bringing up just maintenance style therapy. Like now I don't need no therapy. Like hold on, relax. I'm saying like therapy is a great thing.
It is an awesome tool,
but culturally,
it's not viewed that way.
It's not viewed that way, bro.
Yeah, that's because a lot of us, man, is. And I heard this, man, and I'm still in it. Shout out to Black Panther, Wakanda forever. But I heard a line in that movie, man, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And they were talking about when, T'Challa, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, right? They were talking about how he passed away, and she was like, yo, I had to step back and allow myself the space to break. And I was like, whoa. Because just what you're talking about, right? Black folks in general, bro, we've experienced, gone through a lot of traumatic stuff, fathers included. But the way that we're parented, the way that we are raised culturally, what's culturally accepted is we taught to be strong, we taught to be survivors. Look, I don't have time for them tears. I don't have time to feelings and emotions. Look, we got to survive by any means necessary. And we never stop to just allow yourself to break. Now, let me bring it back full circle for you, Reg. You're an athlete, right? Mm-hmm. You've had injuries and maybe broken bones, different things like that, right? You know, like I know, that there's a wrong way and a right way to what? Heal. Mm-hmm. So if that bone breaks and it doesn't heal right, guess what? You're susceptible to breaking again. And it's the same thing with what you're talking about. If you don't allow yourself that space to break, even as a father, even as a Black father, you're going to break one way or the other. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, you ain't gonna heal right. And so, like you said, the narrative is, look, we're afraid of that. We're afraid of that because of what was taught to us, what was instilled of us. We're afraid of that, man. You know what I'm saying? We're afraid of that level of vulnerability.
But D, that's what's a benefit of having cats like you connected to the movement, connected to the podcast, connected to our community, is because faces that we can relate to, voices that we can relate to, not necessarily always suit and tie, and you know,
Yeah.
when you can relate to a person that's trying to initiate breaking down a barrier, it makes it a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's what I'm grateful for, man. Just because even for me, the podcast, the movement, man, has been extremely therapeutic. Just because, like you say, man, it gives you that minute to break.
You need it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, what they say, pressure bust pipes and make diamonds.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So once you figure out which one you gonna have happen, man, that's where you get not only the break, but you also get the revelation.
And see, that's good that you said that, Reg, because it is another part to the breaking. It's not just the breaking. Like that's the process, but you get taught, you develop, you strengthen, you learn from those breaking moments. Like it's not just about, oh, I'm breaking, and no, man, it's by design. So as you're healing, you're being strengthened. As you're healing, you're being taught. You're learning emotional intelligence. You're learning how to process through different challenges. So guess what? The next time you have to break, you know how to break, and don't nobody or the experience have to break you unwillingly.
Right.
You're going to do it. You're going to be like, yo, man, I'm going to take what I need, do what I need to do, and I'm going to come back stronger the next time. And I think a lot of fathers need to break. Real talk. And there's some good, strong, present fathers that still need to break.
100%, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, you said it before, and I'm gonna say this. You said, look, bro, look, we can't be Superman. We gotta be Clark Kent sometime too.
Got to, because again, without Clark Kent, Superman don't really have the aura that, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I listen, and you always pick up, you know, dumb stuff on dumb movies. So I'm watching, you know what I'm saying?
I'm watching movies.
I'm watching, I'm watching Vampire in Brooklyn, man. And
man, you almost made me spit on my water laughing at this movie,
I almost caught you. Hey, but I'm watching Vampire in Brooklyn, and that's what Eddie Murphy say in Vampire in Brooklyn, man. Yeah. He say, like, if every day is a sunny day, then what's a sunny day?
Then what's a sunny day?
Then what's a sunny day? You know what I'm saying? But, dog, think about how profound that is, bro. If every day you Superman, then who is Clark Kent? Or vice versa. If every day you Clark Kent, who is Superman? Yeah. So a lot of times, man, as present, as active fathers, like, we have to understand, like, bro, if you don't become Clark Kent, first of all, you put a standard on yourself that you can't sustain.
That's it, right?
If you Superman every day, bro,
that's it, bro.
You in trouble.
Unrealistic expectations.
Unrealistic, man. And I don't care how I don't care who you are as a father, as a man, whatever it is, bro. If you don't break and become Clark Kent, man, you'll run yourself into the ground trying to be Superman every day.
Yeah, and that target always moving anyway.
Man, come on. So, and it's always some kryptonite out there.
Yeah, no doubt. Bro, you going to have me go home and watch this Vampire in Brooklyn,
man,
though.
Hey, bro.
I'm laughing. I'm thinking about Pops right now.
Hey, that boy, hey. He said, you can push the $2 over to the line.
Oh, man. Boy, you going to have me watching that
my
tonight.
wife hate Vampire, but I really done made her despise most Eddie Murphy movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Boomerang and Trading Places and Vampire in Brooklyn. Like, bro, she like, man, come on with this Vampire in Brooklyn.
Bro, that boy say, ahoy. Ahoy, motherfucker.
Boy. Hey, that boy, he told Julius, he said, man, say you got the dropsies.
What?
Hey, nah, but D, we gonna end it right there, man. I think that's a great place.
Yeah.
To really, move on and again, a call to action, man. Like fathers, man, you ain't got to be Superman every day, bro.
Nah. No
but
doubt.
to everybody else, a call to action is to support Black father figures, man. We serious about that. You know what I'm saying? Just because we gave y'all a few reasons why it's important to support Black father figures, man, but we really need it sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't think none of us gonna come outright and just say it.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
But stop and give Pound or pat a father figure on the back, or you know what I'm saying? And especially if it's somebody that's pouring into your kids, or you see them pouring into the youth indirectly, where it's not their children and it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like I think those are the ones that we really need to make sure we supporting, because it's a lot of cats out here that don't even have biological kids, man, that's giving a lot, our teachers and coaches and mentors and people who work at youth centers and all that type of stuff, man. They need the support too. But like I say, D, man, I think we in our bag, bro. New season, new episode, new setup, man. We definitely coming after whatever the father figure space got for us, bro. Also, we want to make sure that y'all subscribe, make sure y'all like, make sure y'all comment. Tell your people about the Father Figure Podcast, man. Also, if you want some father figure apparel, man, support Black father figures or a Black father figure.
Come on now.
On the homie. Check us out, www.f2apparel.store. We'll put all the links and all the IGs at the bottom, man. But until next time, man, signing off for my boy Deontay Miller.
Love.
This your boy Reggie George for the Father Figure Podcast, man. We'll see y'all next time.
We out.
Peace.